Today, we will be seeing how much does conferences affect the Heisman race in college football 25. In 4 experiments, we need a control variable, which is going to be Wisconsin and Kennesaw State. Now, you might be asking, how are they going to be my control variable? The team in the higher conference being Indiana and the team in the lower conference being MTSU, they both will be facing the same 2 teams I'll run up the stats on. And for another variable here, we have W conference. So he's a freshman, 99 overall, wide receiver. And then on MTSU, we have another freshman, wide receiver, 99 overall. One's named L conference, the other one's named W conference. One more thing we're adding to this, we gotta make sure both of these teams are undefeated. Yeah, because I'm not gonna play all these games. We're to make sure they have the same record, so that does not affect the Heisman race at all, which I think record barely has an effect anyways. The thing about this, rivalry games, sometimes when they're played at a neutral site, you can't force a win. So hopefully that's a win right there. But yeah, we're gonna make sure they have the same record, so that does not affect the Heisman race either. And we're of course gonna do this for MTSU, which actually, conveniently enough, both of these teams play week 2. Well, week 2, one of the matches we want to see. As you can see, Middle Tennessee's facing Wisconsin right there. And then week 2 for Indiana, they facing Kennesaw State. So we get 2 games right there. Yeah, let me continue forcing every win for the games I will not be playing. Now we're here week 2 where we have 2 of the games we're going to play from both teams here. And we have Middle Tennessee taking on Wisconsin. Now, if you've been following the channel for a while, you know there is a cap to how many yards you can get in a game on a receiver. And we're going to hit that cap just so we can have like a certain number that both of these wide receivers will definitely hit. I'm going to try to hit that cap. I'm going to try to match their touchdowns as well and their receptions. That's because the cap would be the easiest number to duplicate, rather than trying to get like 999 yards or whatever. And we've ended the game with 17 receptions, 1023 receiving yards, 60 average yards per reception, 15 touchdowns. Rack, I'm not gonna lie, there's no way we're matching this. Drops, I don't think we're matching this either. Long, I don't know if we're matching this either. But it's time to go ahead and head over to Indiana. Now we're facing Kennesaw State. We're gonna match those exact stats for the character we have in this game. All right, try my best, but I had to get 1 more reception to get 1 more touchdown. So these are his stats, which is very similar to the Middle Tennessee stats. Just 1 more reception, so a couple of stuff are down. He also didn't get a drop either. But let's just see what happens on the Heisman watch after these games.
A few moments later.
All right, I accidentally just simmed. I forgot to take my people off the field, and look at his stats. What just happened? I'm not replaying this game. I'm just gonna see what happens to the stats at the end of the game, but I forgot to sub him out, bro. He played another quarter and his stats are glitched. Hopefully it's not like that when we actually check the season stats. All right, so the Middle Tennessee guys stats saved, but Indiana's didn't. Please let me know how. Wait, did it? No way. No way it's actually negative 981. How did this happen? Are we being serious? Maybe, what is it? Maybe it's a weekly glitch. Hold on. Maybe it's a weekly glitch. So our quarterback stats are negative. Let me just check real quick. And then this guy's stats is completely glitched. This is so stupid. I have to restart this now.
6.5 hours later.
All right, we're back after some time. Very identical stats. Look like Indiana, he has less rack. Everything else is exactly the same. Oh, this dude has more downs played too, but that's it. Everything else exactly the same. Who will be at the top of the Heisman watch when I sim to the next week? All right, as you can see here, somehow. What? W Conference Junior here. All right. I totally forgot that in the early. Wait, L Conference is here. The transfer from Middle Tennessee State University. Anyways, I forgot in the early weeks, the entire Heisman watch is like completely glitched. Yeah, so I'm finna just go get both of these dudes. Just another 99-yard, 1 touchdown game against the team that the last team just faced. I had it correct. I had it for the first 2 weeks of the season. I forgot the first 2 weeks of the season don't fully update yet. Middle Tennessee, first 2 weeks they played Alabama, Florida State. I should have pushed Florida State back because Indiana has Florida State and Alabama. I should have pushed one of these games back because I totally forgot the Heisman watch actually sucks in the early stages. So we're gonna have to freelance this a little bit. So I think I'm gonna sim to like week 4. Looks like, yes, conference does affect the Heisman watch because we have W Conference Junior. This is my remake because they got messed up. Juniors are my remake, so forget about L Conference here. He's ahead of L Conference Junior, even though they have the same stats on the season. So now I gotta see how many more yards does L Conference Junior need to catch W Conference Junior here. So in this game against New Mexico State, I'm gonna get a 99-yard, 1 touchdown game to see if he moves further up the Heisman watch. All right, I don't know how I did this, but I managed to get 100 yards with him. 1 catch, 100 yards, 1 touchdown. It was a 99-yard touchdown. I mean, you can't get on a 0-yard line, so somehow he did get 100 yards though, 1 touchdown. Well, let's see how this affects the Heisman watch. 100 more yards. Wait, why is L Conference up here? Yes, you know what? L Conference is proving my point here. How is he up here? What has he done? How is he number 1? Either way, 100 yards later, he's still behind W Conference Junior here. So I guess it's time to give him 100 more yards. But literally, what it has? Hold on, I gotta check these stats. I'm literally, we're proving it right here. We're proving right here. He's in the SEC. Texas has some crazy bias. I think he might have actually won the Heisman last year though. Let's see. Yeah, look, number 1, number 2. They're number 1 and number 2. Where is the other dude? Where is he at? How is he up here? Is he scoring touchdowns? Like, what's going on? It's not the fact that he's ever been up here. You know what I'm saying? Early weeks, some people start off slow, but it's the fact that it's been a couple weeks. This dude only has 300 yards and he's up here. How? Actually, how are you up here? What are you doing? How much are you paying them? 73 receiving yards a game. That's not even great. That's all right. That's not even nothing crazy. Nothing to write home about. Like, look what everybody else is averaging a game. We got people averaging 130. What are you doing up there? But anyways, we're going to face Nevada here week 5. We're going to go get another 99-yard touchdown or maybe 100-yard touchdown. I don't know how this game's going to count it. We're going to get another one against Nevada and see what happens to the Heisman Watch. All right, that game, we actually got the 99-yard touchdown that game instead of the 100, which should have been the first time, but who really cares? And this is next week's Heisman Watch, which L Conference has finally dropped, but W Conference Junior is still above L Conference Junior, even though L Conference Junior has 199 more yards than him and 2 more touchdowns. Now, I just want to point out, Middle Tennessee beat Bama, number 20, 108-52. And then Indiana's first week, the only game he played, they beat a Florida State. Wait, Bama's currently number 20. Oh, I don't know what I think they were like 18-20 though. I think they were like 18-20. It's something like this. It was something very similar. Either way, both of their opponents were ranked. The scores honestly weren't that different. But Florida State is having a much worse season, which actually doesn't even prove the point on why W Conference Junior is ahead. Middle Tennessee played a better team when they both put up 1,000 yards, and W Conference Junior is still ahead somehow. All right, next week, I didn't even play a game yet. We had a bye week. I just had to sim. And W Conference Junior is no longer on the Heisman Watch. L Conference Junior is back up here. He's stuck at number 2 somehow. So it took him 200 yards to finally give above W Conference Junior, but that's only because the Heisman Watch is so janky in the earlier season. Now it's kind of stable. I think I'm gonna go give both of them a 100-yard game and see what happens to the Heisman Watch. So after a 100-yard game from L Conference Junior and a 99-yard game from W Conference Junior, L Conference Junior is here. No sign of W Conference Junior though. Now, one thing I did mess up though, Indiana already lost 2 games this season. I forgot to force win them. So it seems like a 200-yard difference really matters a lot. This 200-yard 2 touchdown difference is having L Conference Junior number 2 on the Heisman Watch, while W Conference Junior is nowhere to be found. Now also, they do have 2 more losses, which I did, like I said, messed up on, but both of these teams are ranked, so it's not like he's far behind. So I think I'm gonna go get both of them another 1,000-yard game, right, with 15 touchdowns, and see who is at the top of the Heisman Watch. All right, I forgot to actually turn off the minutes on the quarter, so they would not be getting a 1,000-yard game here. We're just gonna have to settle for maybe like a 400 game, possibly. All right, I could have got way more yards than this, but I settled for a 6-catch, 400-yard, 5-touchdown game, which I literally had this in the second quarter, but I got bored. Now, this could really shake it up because they're facing a number 8 Minnesota here, so they should jump up in the rankings with this win. With his monster game, he should be on the Heisman Watch. And then for W Conference Junior, I gave him 6 catches, 405 receiving yards, and 5 touchdowns. And in case you were wondering, player of the week did go to W Conference Junior, which I guess he did deserve it because he did have slightly better stats. I really should have checked who won of the week they had the same stats, which actually I might as well do right now, because in such a crucial week, who could have possibly won it? They gave it W Conference Junior. I don't know how I feel about this. I think Florida State might have been ranked higher at that time though, so I guess he probably did deserve it. Maybe, I'd have to go back and look, but there might be a little tad bit of bias there. But either way, we had the week 9 Heisman Watch. W Conference Junior is back in play, and Nico, what are you doing? How did he surpass him? How did he surpass him with these monster games they just had? But as we can see, and look at L Conference, like, what is he doing? What am I looking at? But as we can see here, there might be a 200-yard bias towards the lower conference, because that's all L Conference Junior has on this man. Yeah, as we can see, I believe if you are in a worse conference, 200 yards and 2 touchdowns is what you need to do to outdo a better conference than you, because that's the only gap we have here. And they're now both on the Heisman Watch. Now this dude has more games too. That might affect it more. Rack is only 100 though. So yeah, 200 yards, that might be what it is. That might be the threshold. Let me get a 100-yard game with W Conference Junior and see what happens. And after a 100-yard, 1 touchdown game from W Conference Junior, W Conference Junior is still below L Conference Junior. This is actually mind-boggling now. How is he still below this man? Top 25, Indiana's the better team as well. So maybe there isn't a conference bias. The Heisman Watch is just completely terrible at the beginning of the year. Maybe that's all it is. There isn't a conference bias in college football 25. Now Middle Tennessee does have the better record, but I'm pretty sure rank matters more than record. I really wish I didn't mess up the record thing, but if we did, Indiana would be number 1 And yeah, this is actually probably perfect. The ranks right beside each other, but these are the stat difference. This is like a 90-yard stat difference here, 89-yard, I believe. 0.9 receiving average per reception difference. Yards per game really doesn't matter because he has way less games. 1 touchdown difference, less than 70 rack difference. Like everything here is pretty as close as it can get. Now, if I play one more game with W. Comfort Jr., does he surpass him? If he doesn't surpass him, I will be mind boggled. And they're facing Rutgers. He gets no extra points for being a good team. He's facing one of the worst teams in this conference. And with W. Comfort Jr., 1 catch, 99 receiving yard game, somehow winning player of the game. I don't know how he pulled that off. He finally surpasses L. Conference Jr. I believe there is no conference bias in this game. W. Conference Jr. has 10 more yards and he is 1 step ahead of him. And at the end of the day, if they have equal stats, right, he should get the extra nod. He plays for Indiana. He's in the Big Ten. He deserved the extra nod. So it's not nothing crazy if he has the extra nod. If every stat is even, there is nothing wrong with that. But yeah, the only stat L. Conference Jr. is really beating him in is rack. He has 20 more than that. Everything else pretty even. In the ranks, very similar. Number 5, number 7. So ranks aren't a part of this either. I think this was a pretty good experiment. I don't know which more I can really do with this. I've tested with W. Comfort Jr. being lower, put him 200 yards lower, 100 yards lower, and then he finally surpassed him with 10 yards over. And the Heisman ends up going to Nico, and best receiver ends up going to W. Comfort Jr. with 10 more yards than L. Comfort Jr. And I think that's going to be it for the video. If you enjoyed the video, I feel like there is maybe like the slightest bit of bias, but as there should be to bigger conferences. That's kind of how I feel about it. We really don't have a definitive answer. This is as close as you're gonna get though. Yeah, that's it for the video though. If you enjoyed this video, make sure you like, comment, subscribe, maybe comment any more crazy experiments you want to see. Yeah, that's it for the video. I am out. Peace.